with your main Chip Washington. When it comes to information, the main got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's a local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Chip got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go on this Monday evening. It is the first Monday of a brand new year, January 5th to be exact. Welcomes to a brand new, an all-new edition and the first edition of the new year of Real Talk Memphis. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I hope that the year is coming in right for you. I hope everything is setting itself. A good pattern is starting to take shape, and you're about ready to go. Listen, I wish all the blessings that you could possibly receive, and even more than that for each and every one of you. Hope you had a great holiday season. Many folks just getting back in town, getting back into the rhythm of things today as we begin anew. And so I'm very happy to have you all with us this evening. We think we have a very good show for you. We will detail the lineups in just a couple of minutes. But first things first, it's always great to see my gang, Lola, and, of course, Bryn here this evening as well. Now, many of you are asking the question, how do you get this fine piece of radio broadcasting? Well, there are several ways to do it. Right now, we are live on the radio, 91.7 on your FM dial. That would be WYXR. You can also find us on the WYXR app. We are on the TuneIn app as well. We are live streaming tonight on Facebook Live, so you can check us out there. And, of course, when the show posts the next day or two, you will be able to find us on YouTube. And as we are a podcast, you will be able to get us wherever it is you get your podcast. So, yeah, a lot of ways to get this radio show, and we hope you take advantage of more than a few of them. Now, in terms of my guest this evening, very happy to have and honored to have in studio with me tonight the Honorable Mayor of the City of Memphis. His name is Paul Young, and we will be chatting and chopping it up in just a minute. A little bit later on, Representative G.A. Hardaway will join me to talk about the upcoming legislative session and what we can expect in this new year. And a little bit later on in the broadcast, someone the mayor knows fairly well. He is the senior pastor of Riverside Missionary Baptist Church. His name is Reginald Boyce, Dr. Reginald Boyce. And, of course, his other job is to be the special assistant to the mayor as well as the director over community affairs for the city of Memphis. So, yeah, we have a good loaded. Now, but before you all start to think, and this is all a political thing, I have asked Reverend Boyce to come tonight. Because he is a pastor, and I always like to lead off a year, in good fashion in reference to that. So we're going to be getting some notes from him as to how we leave 2025 behind and move forward into 2026. So yeah, there you go. Good base of a start for us this year. Now, as we normally do a couple of things at the top here. We normally do birthdays. We do birthday shout outs and a couple of news and notes. I'm going to forsake that for this evening. But of course, all of you who are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to each and every one of you out there. And we hope that we will be here next year for your next trip around the sun. Lola, do you have any birthdays you want? You sure? You sure? Look at her, she's pouting a little bit over there, but I still love her anyway. But we're going to do all that because I respect and honor the time of our mayor. And as I said, he is sitting here in studio with me right now. And Mayor Young, it is great to see you. Happy New Year!
And Happy New Year to you. Man, I was glad to be able to come in person. I know we could have done it virtual, but I wanted to be here. So,
and I'm glad we worked that out. You worked that out.
Yeah. It's different energy when I can feel you and see you in person. So.
It is absolutely that. So, I guess we'll start at the beginning. I just realized not too long ago that you are starting your 3rd year in office. Time flown for you, has it?
Yeah, time flies, man. It's been an incredible journey. I mean, there's a lot of challenges that we've been working through, but I feel good, and I feel like the trajectory of the city is moving in the right direction, despite all the challenges we've had. So I'm looking forward to continuing to push us forward over these next 2 years, and work hard to get another 4, and just move Memphis where we need it to go.
And you were talking about, they were talking a little bit offline, and you were saying, this is the big year for you. It's a year of action. You feel like you've been in reaction mode or reacting mode, and now you want to just sort of kind of step out in front of all of this and lead from there. Talk a little bit about what you meant by that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that we knew after the election, the number one thing that was on the mind of Memphians was how can we make our city safer? And you got a range of opinions. I've always been of the opinion that it's a both and strategy. You have to do some things on the law enforcement side, but we are short-sighted if we believe that law enforcement is what's going to change our community forever like we want it. You have to invest in opportunities, and we've tried hard to do that. We put forth different programs to make sure we're investing with organizations that are doing intervention and prevention, working with young people on the ground, and we've put investment into our law enforcement. And I think that that response has paid dividends. We see crime moving in the direction that we needed to move, and now is the time where we really invest deeply in opportunity. And what I've been telling our team is that these next 2 years are going to be really about investing more in workforce, in training opportunities for young people, investing in our summer jobs program. Last summer we had 1,800, which is more than we've had in Memphis history.
Right.
This summer we're going for 3,000. So we're moving the bar far because we want to try and make some leaps. One of the things that we've been suffering from in our community is population loss. It's for various reasons, but at the end of the day, our community has lost population over the last 25 years. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of frustration and anger when we had to increase taxes in my first year.
Right.
And that was because we hadn't increased taxes in 12 years. And our population continued to go down, which means you have less people paying for services that have gotten more expensive. Mm-hmm. So those are the types of things that we've had to do. When I say we were responding, we were having to stabilize our budget. We had to work through all of the issues with MATA, which obviously aren't all the way resolved, but we've gotten it into stabilization mode. And now it's time to make the advances that we need for our community to truly grow.
So, and speaking about that, and we have seen you a lot lately talking about the fact that crime is low. This is an ever persistent thing with the citizenry here in Memphis. You have statistics that show that crime is down, but the convincing of the population, it seems like it's always been kind of an uphill battle because of where it came from, maybe to where we are right now. So, and I think you sense that. But again, you have to try to let people know what is happening and things are moving in the right direction. But is that one of the biggest challenges? Because there are a lot of folks in this city who will tell you that they don't think that crime is down, that they don't see they don't see what you see.
Yeah.
And so that is a continual thing, is it not, in terms of that?
Yeah, I mean, people know their daily experience. They know what it feels like when they are moving around the city and when they're hearing from their loved ones and friends about things that have happened. I think you are hearing far less about car break-ins and things like we were dealing with back in 2023. Those numbers are down dramatically. We're seeing less homicides. We're seeing less people that are victims of gun violence. And I think when you put that emphasis on the victim side, then you start to really feel why it's important that we continue to push the numbers down. But nobody's planting the flag and saying we've succeeded. Like, crime is still too high. is still higher than we want it to be. There are still too many people that are victimized in our community, and so we have to continue the efforts. The challenge for local government, for myself and all of us that are working in this space, is that once you begin to make progress, it means the next year is going to be even harder to move those numbers down even further, because at some point you get to what your natural level of crime is, and we don't want to rest on our laurels and say we're at our natural level, we're at X amount of homicides per year. No, we want to continue to push it down, and it means you're going to have to continue to be innovative with what strategies you're going to put in place to make sure that happens.
So let's talk about the Memphis Safe Task Force. And, of course, they've been here for a few months now. When this all first started, there was a lot of confusion about a lot of folks here in our city about what it was going to look like. Well, now we've seen it for the last 3 months, and there's been over 4,800 tickets written. There's been over 3,000 people arrested. And of course, there's the National Guard. And I want to get to that in a minute. But in terms of the task force itself, when we started all of this, the President of the United States intimated that you were in support of this, as was the governor. Just to let people know, again, you said it the first time, but since you're here this time, this wasn't necessarily something that you were advocating for, was it?
No, definitely not. I mean, I can't speak to what the president was saying or what his team said. My goal has been to figure out how to drive this thing towards what we know is a problem in Memphis, which is violent crime. So, as I mentioned in my first press conference, I don't believe that the National Guard is the right way to drive down crime, but I do believe that it's important to have partnerships with federal agencies. So agencies like FBI, DEA, ATF. So when those entities came in, one of the things that we began to do is work with MPD and figure out how can we get them focused on the things that matter the most to us. So every day they have what they call a joint operations center where the federal team started each day. We came up with a top 20 warrant list. We go through all the warrants in the MPD portfolio, and we identify who those 20 people are, and we take that list to them every morning and say, all right, here's the list that we need to focus on. Our measures of success are not the number of arrests, because we know you can arrest and people get out, and we want quality arrests. We want the people that have actually been doing major crimes in our city actually being off the streets, the ones that have victimized so many people. We want them off the streets. And so when we look at what are the measures of success, we look at what are the clearance rates. Are we clearing more crimes than we have prior to all of this starting? What are the actual numbers of calls? How many calls for service are we getting on a daily basis? That means that when we look at them month over month, comparing December to December 25 to December 24, we're seeing that those numbers were lower, and that means that our strategy is working. It means it's taking place. The crime is going in the direction that we needed to go. And prior to the task force, we were already moving in the right direction. Yes, it accelerated a little bit, but we were already doing the things to move our community where we needed to go, and we're going to continue to do that.
Now, in reference to that, again, we've seen thousands of arrests and thousands of tickets issued and things like this. One of the prevailing issues that we deal with on a daily basis, and you hear about on a daily basis, and you have addressed, is this immigration situation. ICE and how they're doing what they're doing, where they're doing it in cooperation with, I guess the spirit of all of this was to get criminals off the street.
Absolutely.
And things like that. But it seems to have taken a different turn. And I wanted to get your take on that particular part of it. You have spoken out against the way people have been treated.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the immigration piece. Immigration is not a problem in our city. We have the fastest growing population in Memphis for the past 5 years has been the Hispanic population, which has grown to 9%, and they have been major contributors to our economy. And I express that to the task force on a daily basis, but as you know, they operate from a different perspective. And the way that we have tried to operationalize it is the more we can get them focused on the violent crime, the less they're going to be focused on immigration. And so there was some confusion early on around MPD's role with immigration, and people thought that because they saw federal agents riding in the car with or riding behind MPD that we were doing immigration, but it's actually the opposite. When they're with MPD, they're focusing on responding to calls and doing the things that our MPD officers are doing each day and not doing immigration. Many of the immigration issues take place when they are following Tennessee Highway Patrol and doing traffic stops.
We have seen, obviously, an increase in the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
And in reference to now the National Guard situation is something that is now it's in court. There were some individuals here who decided to file a lawsuit injunction against having them here because the standards, I guess, if you will, for lack of a better terminology, of what would determine whether a National Guard would be assigned to a particular city or not, in this case, haven't been met. I mean, there's nothing on that list that would show that we would have such a great influx of National Guard. This was the governor's decision about that. But once again, what's your take on the National Guard being here? In particular, they're not deputized, so they have no law enforcement authority here, so they're not really doing much here. So what's your take on all that?
Well, as I said in my first press conference, the governor and the president of the United States decided that they were going to bring the National Guard here. My goal has been to make sure that we're in the room so that we have influence on how they show up. And we did just that. We had conversations on the front end instead of them coming with the long guns, walking around in a more intimidating fashion. We asked them not to do that, and they didn't. We asked them not to come in Humvees and tanks, and they didn't. They're riding around in transit vans. We asked them to coordinate with our police department on where their patrols will be. At first they started off and they were downtown. Now that they're in other precincts, they're still following the guidance of MPD with regards to where they're going to be. They're using data to identify where are the areas where you had the highest number of incidents of crime. And that's where they're doing their patrol. And so I think my job as mayor is to try and figure out how to minimize negative impact to our community. And so in every discussion that I'm in, that's what we're focused on.
And looking at that in particular, it seems that I think it was a story in the paper a day or two ago that there had been even more guard troops here than we thought in the first place. And I said from the very beginning, all of this, it just felt heavy. And it still feels heavy. And one thing that you mentioned a minute ago that I think that a lot of people are paying attention to is when certain traffic stops are made, whether it's on the highway or whether in the city, we see, the one car and then we see 2, 3, 4 cars coming behind it. That's very intimidating to an individual. I mean, especially if it's a traffic stop. And again, I know that there are parameters upon which you can say something and let them know about that. But for a lot of people, I think the presence, especially with all the federal authorities here, feels kind of intimidating still. And I guess the question is, we'll get to it in a minute, what happens after all this is said and done? But in reference to that question, how do you address that?
And what's the question?
Well, I just really wanted to talk about the fact that it seems like
how they show up,
yeah. And it seems like it's a bit on the intimidating side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand that. I mean, I personally feel like we needed some calm on our roads, but I'm ready to pull back on the traffic side and really focus more on the warrant execution, violent crime side. I think Tennessee Highway Patrol, even prior to this, the surge of federal officers, even before that, Tennessee Highway Patrol was doing a pretty good job on the roads and highways. And so being able to maintain some level of presence for them, being on our interstates, even after the surge is over, I think will help us on that front. But we continue to need that support on identifying the real drivers of violent crime, because what people don't realize is that you're really only talking about 1,000 people who are the ones that are really doing the real violent crime, the actual shooters, the ones that are actually harming lives in our community. And if we are intentional about targeting, going after those individuals, and then stopping the pipeline by investing more in the prevention and intervention program so that these young people can make different choices, and not only make different choices, know what the other choices are. Because the reasons that people turn to a life of crime is because they don't know any other option. And so we have to be intentional about making sure that they know what those options are. And so when you talk about how do we sustain it after the surge ends, you sustain it by investing in those things that are going to prevent people from deciding to go through a life of crime in the first place.
And speaking of things ending, eventually we hope that this will. You have to run a city. You have a city to run. Economics is a huge part of all of that. And are you concerned in reference to how much all of this is costing versus how you have to budget things as you continue, as you say, to move forward? This is a big year for you, and there are a lot of other things and other needs that need to be addressed. So how do we tackle that?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of how much it has cost, those expenses are borne by the federal government, at least on the side of the task force and all the things that they're doing.
Okay.
When we talk about how we sustain it and how we get more investment in the areas where I think we really are going to see the greater gains in reduction in crime, that's what we're thinking about every day. We're getting ready to go into budget season over the next couple of months, so we'll be making decisions on the city side. The state legislature, I heard you say Representative Hardaway is going to be here.
Yes.
They're going to go into session in a couple of weeks, and so we'll be reaching out to the state to identify where are there opportunities for co-investment in some of those things.
What is the biggest or one of the biggest issues this coming year that you are looking to tackle? I mean, there are always things that you say, well, this is, you talk to your team, this is a priority, these are some of the things that we need to do. What's on your list for 2026?
Housing. I think that we need some ambitious goals around housing. We got to grow the quality of housing in our community. We have older housing stock and not enough resources to get that housing fixed up to the level that we need it. So housing is number one. I would say youth and programs for youth, really looking to grow that number of youth, young people, jobs for young people from 1,800 to 3,000. Cleaning up our city.
Yep.
I think
Blight's a big deal.
Blight is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And, I'm a community development guy. And I think that it's really important for me as mayor to lean into the things that make me different from other candidates and other mayors. And I think rebuilding our neighborhoods and communities is going to be one of my top priorities because I want more people living in Memphis, choosing Memphis. I want our Memphians abroad, folks that have moved to all of these other cities. I want them to find opportunities in Memphis. I want them to find housing in Memphis and raise their families here because I think it's important that we think about how we stabilize our population. We can't continue to see losses each year in population. We want to see those numbers go up, whether it's by 0.5% or by 1% per year.
There is a huge election this year. This is the election year. This is the county, and this is a major big deal.
Yeah.
Now, it has been historically known that when election time comes, a lot of folks do a lot of talking on the front end, but when it comes to the election day, they decide they have other things to do. You were in a race like that a few years back. How important is it for as someone you know very well to get this right? We really need to improve these numbers, and I know that there is a big effort to really increase the number of individuals that go to the polls because there is so much at stake.
So much at stake, and I think sometimes and there's a sense of apathy where people feel like no matter who in the office, it still doesn't matter for me. Things don't change in my neighborhood, in my community, but the reality is that that's just not true. It is changing, and it's going to change, and you should make your voice heard on how you want that change to take place and who you believe is going to be the best person. I mean, you got to think about what are the responsibilities of the job that you're electing someone for, and what is their ability to actually execute and get something done. The county government is responsible for our criminal justice system. They're responsible for public health. They're responsible for public education. They're responsible for infrastructure. They're responsible for economic development. These are deeply important things that people are up in arms about every day.
Yeah.
Well, this is the time to pick the people that are going to push us in that right direction.
Yeah, and education is another big one as far as the board is concerned and everything else. And so as we wrap this up, just if you wouldn't mind, just a message to the citizens of Memphis as we approach this new year and the hope and the aspirations that you have for us as a city as we continue to move forward.
Well, I mean, I think my overarching message is that Memphis is a great city. We've achieve some things, but we still haven't reached our ceiling. And there are so many young people that are dependent on each and every one of us, all of us grown-ups, all of us adults. There are young people that are depending on us to make decisions that are going to have a positive impact on their future. And that's what this is about. We're going to have our debates. We're going to have our disagreements on different things. But let's find the areas where we can find some alignment, where we can come together and get some stuff done, because our community does not need to suffer while we, rummage through our bureaucracy and debate about our different issues and then get to a standstill where nothing gets done. We need to be a community where we can agree to disagree on this one issue, and then this one where we do agree on, we get some progress on, and we can come back to that other thing later.
The Honorable Mayor of the City of Memphis, Paul Young. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for taking the time and be here with us tonight. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
So listen, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will reset and get back more into the show. This is Real Talk Memphis, the first one of 2026. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support from WYXR comes from Sunset Jazz at Court Square, a free, family-friendly concert series presented by Just Jazzin', downtown Memphis and City of Memphis. Held every second Sunday from May through October, this annual event brings the smooth sounds of Memphis jazz to the heart of downtown at 62 North Main Street. Each show spotlights local talent in a wide range of styles, from straight ahead to swing. More information can be found at sunsetjazzmemphis.com.
Whether it's a clunker or a classic, your car can keep Memphis grooving. Free pickup, tax deductible, and all for WYXR. Donate your vehicle at cars.wyxr.org.
Programming on WYXR is brought to you by a grant from Arts Memphis, who has invested $100 million into our local arts community to teach, uplift, unite, and engage Memphians of all ages and zip codes.
Support for WYXR comes from GPAC, presenting Don Was and the Pan Detroit Ensemble with Mempho Presents on Friday, January 23rd at 8 p.m., featuring their debut album, Groove in the Face of Adversity, and the classic Grateful Dead album, Blues for Allah. Tickets and more information at gpacweb.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you, and I hope that you are with us tonight as we launch into our first show of the brand new year. Now, there is a lot going on, no doubt, and there's a lot of questions, a lot of issues, and a lot of things that many of us are very curious about. And to emphasize all of that, I wanted to bring forth, because the state legislature is about to get back in session, I believe, next week. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what that looks like. And the guy I know that I like to go to get the truth about certain things is joining me now. Please welcome to the show, State Representative G.A. Hardaway. My friend, Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy and a blessed and a prosperous and peaceful New Year to you, sir, and to all your listeners.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that and appreciate you. So let's jump into this. Obviously, when we were talking to the mayor about several things that were happening in and around our community. One of the big things, of course, is the election coming up next year for Shelby County. One of the issues involved in that, you were kind of involved in it, having to do with the changing of the election cycle for the Shelby County School Board. So 5 of the individuals who were elected in 2024, their term will actually effectively end in 2 years instead of 4 years, as voted on by the county commission. First of all, what's your take on that?
Well, I offered language to the county commission for a version of their bill that I thought would have been more sensible and constitutional. What they've got now, I believe, is constitutionally suspect, which means it may or may not be found to be constitutional. I think what I offered, which would have been a version that would go before the voters for them to make the decision, would have been more acceptable. And I think it would have been closer to being unchallenged by the school board. I think what we've got now is probably going to give the school board and others who are concerned that there's, in essence, the rights of the voters are being violated. That it's a voting rights issue, it's a civil rights issue, and a constitutional issue statewide. How it will play out is 50-50. It could go either way.
And having said that, many people felt who were supportive of the move that this was a pseudo, if you will, recall for the school board individuals that voted Dr. Fagans out of her position in reference to all of this. And I do believe what you say in reference to the constitutionality of all of this. If a person was elected, lawfully and legally elected to a certain length of time and term, they should be able to fulfill that term. But as you say, we will see what happens. Now, one of the big issues, and we talked about it earlier, is this whole National Guard situation here. And again, you were kind of in the middle of that in terms of filing a lawsuit, against the governor and the state in terms of the unlawfulness of actually having the National Guard in our city. How are you feeling about that these days now that it has been appealed formally by the state?
Well, I'm feeling good. The appeal that the governor did is because we won on the initial filing.
That's right, you did.
That was for the injunction, the preliminary injunction. What we're asking for now is that the courts would go ahead in order to save time and not only hear the arguments on the preliminary injunction, but also get into the constitutional issues that we raised and maybe move this, move this along a little faster. The governor violated the Constitution because he did not bring his request to the legislature. The Tennessee General Assembly is there for a reason. We're the voices of the people. He should have presented his plan to the Tennessee General Assembly so we could debate it and tell him whether it makes sense or not, and then move forward with it or not move forward with it. That second part is that you don't have the statutory requirements. The local bodies, the city council, the county commission, they did not do a resolution requesting the governor to send the National Guard now. So he's wrong on so many levels, and we're grateful that we have a court, the initial court, Chancery Court, that saw fit to side with us in our filing.
So another issue I want to talk about, since you guys are about to get back into session, and one that is starting to come up again and make some noise, this is the possibility of a state takeover, or whatever term one wants to use, in reference to our local school board. Representative, one of your colleagues, Mark White, says that he's pushing for this thing in a management council or what have you, and he wants a bill with some teeth. I know on the Senate side, Brent Taylor also forwarded one of his suggestions for a bill. Let's talk about that for a minute, and how realistic do you think that this will be, and how close do people need to pay attention to what could happen here?
Well, you need to pay close attention. Let me go into the procedural, legislative procedural issues here. There is a bill on the House side. There's a bill on the Senate side.
Right.
Today that have passed each of their respective chambers.
Right.
So Mark could bring that bill up, take it to conference committee, which is merely where the Speaker of the Senate appoints 3 or 4 people. The Speaker of the House appoints 3 or 4 people. They go in a room, they hash it out, and then they bring that agreed upon language for a bill back to their respective chambers and vote on it. If that happens, the public will never see what we're doing until it's actually done. The public will not have a chance to be engaged, to offer any testimony. All of this will be within the workings of the chamber, the House of Representatives and the Senate. So it'll never see the light of day outside of those 2 chambers. You won't have any input. The way that Mark has described it, and I always offer these cautions until it's actually in writing and put before me, it can change. So the way that he's offered it is the worst way, which is that the bill would usurp all of the powers of elected officials, the duly elected school board, including the new ones. If that goes forward, they'd be in the same shape. Just more confusion. And if that happens, then we're talking again about voting rights violations. We will have voted for a school board that will have no budget power, will have no policy power. That will lie in the hands of the executives, the executive committees that are appointed by the Speaker of the House, the Speaker of the Senate, and your either your current governor or your incoming governor, which means that if the polls are correct, listen closely, then Marsha Blackburn is likely to make appointments of her cronies to make rules for your school board system.
You laid out a rather ominous picture in all of this, and by the mere fact that depending on how this is done and resolved, that the public won't have any input on this whatsoever, and it does not spell good for the future of education in and around our city. Now, you all are about to get back in session. We are still under a super majority Republican legislature. I spoke with the mayor about elections. I know how passionate you are about the power of the vote. This is a huge year in terms of that, especially in our county races. What's your thought process as we start this thing out? So many people running for various offices, but we have always had a continual problem, GA, with the fact that people don't consider it that important when it comes to the election day itself.
Well, I'll say it again, as I've said thousands of times, that the process, the political process, will happen with you or it will happen to you. Those who are living in Memphis, living in Shelby County, you need to be aware that the county elections are going to touch on each and every quality of life determinant in your life. It's going to touch on your economics. It's going to touch on your education. It's going to touch on your health care. It's going to touch on your affordable housing issues and so on. If we don't have, for instance, we've got $3 billion worth of capital needs when you look at the jail, you look at the med, and you look at the deferred maintenance of the school system. That's $3 billion right there. Mm-hmm. We need a comprehensive funding approach to make sure that all of those needs are met. If we don't do it, we're going to end up in federal court, and some judge is going to tell us how to do it, when to do it, and he or she won't care about the rest of the budget. So inform yourself on the issues and educate yourself on the individuals running. Issues and individuals, two different things. The individuals should be competent and they ought to be caring about whatever it is that they're presenting themselves to do. It's not enough to just have the skill set, have the training. They've got to have character.
You know, we talk about that all the time, and a lot of these folks vote for people that they know. That's my homeboy, that's my homegirl. I grew up with them, this and that, and everything else. And we have emphasized, and you have emphasized it beautifully, the fact that there has to be more involved in all of this. We have to dig deeper. If we want sustainable change, then we have to be a part of the change that we are trying to make. Am I correct in that?
You are, and the change has to start with our own vision. We have to have some idea of where we want to go, well, of where we are, and thus how long it's going to take us, how far we've got to go to get there. We can't put our livelihood, put our welfare in the hands of other folks and not do what democracy, a democratic republic, demands, and that's stay engaged. We run this show. So when you're voting, you ought to already have an idea of what your needs are.
Right.
What your needs are based upon the problems that you have. Thus, you ought to be able to offer solutions. And those needs need to be reflected in a plan that the individual who's asking you for your vote, he or she needs to offer you a plan with dates and times, chronology, point by point on how they're going to meet those needs. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And that's the way that you cast your vote. Who has the best plan that addresses your needs in writing?
One final question in reference to a particular race in the county, which is county mayor. Is it surprising to you that as of this point, no Republican has filed to run for county mayor? Have they conceded the fact that this could be a Republican deal all the way around?
Well, no. I think the Republicans always have had a plan, and they have a plan now. Years ago, I spoke about the Red to the Roots campaign that my friends in the Republican Party had. And it's designed to get folks to the polls that they have educated, knocked on doors, had one-on-one conversations with time and time again over the years. So what is the Republican Party looking for this time? If it's a Democrat, they're looking for their policies, for their platform to be carried out. If it's a Republican, same thing. So they're going to look at the mechanics. They're going to look at the possibilities of electing a Republican. But if they can't elect a Republican, they're going to put a Democrat in the race that has Republican values, that owes his or her actual campaign to the Republican Party. The funding, the votes, those are the two things you need to look at, who he or she is appealing to and what the resources are and who those resources are coming from. So, no, the Republican Party hasn't given up. The Republican Party has a couple of horses in this race already. They will narrow it down to one, and then they'll move forward supporting that candidate. They'll send out support letters, support material for that candidate that Democrats and independents will never see.
State Representative G.A. Hardaway. Thank you, my friend, for taking some time to come on the show tonight. Really appreciate you. We got a lot to think about. We got a lot to look at as this year rolls on, and I will be tapping your expertise between now and then. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do and the work you will continue to do going into this wonderful 2026.
Absolutely.
Be blessed.
Thank you. You too, my friend. Listen, G.A. Hardaway, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll reset for our next guest, and I'm going to take you to church. That's all I'm going to say. This is Real Talk Memphis on a beautiful Monday evening in the city. I'm Chip. You know who you are. Let's take a quick one, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Almadel Jaguar is proud to support WYXR, a handcrafted tequila inspired by change and conservation. More information at almadeljaguar.com. Support for WYXR, including the 2025 Raised by Sound Festival, comes from Global Cafe, serving authentic dishes from Mexico, Venezuela, Sudan, and more. Global Cafe hosts immigrant food entrepreneurs cooking an eclectic mix of dishes in Crosstown Concourse, offering online ordering for pickup and delivery. More information at globalcafememphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have you with us and glad to have my next guest with us as well. And I always want to make sure I do him proper in terms of my introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the show Reverend Dr. Reginald Boyce. He is the senior pastor of Riverside Missionary Baptist Church here in the lovely city of Memphis, Tennessee. Happy New Year, my friend. Did I do okay?
And you did well, man. Happy New Year. You are still the GOAT at introductions.
Woo!
I'm telling you.
I'm going to try to hold on to that a little bit longer. I appreciate you, man. So listen, I'm glad you could make some time with us. I had, when your boss was here earlier, I made an illusion that you were coming on the show. You are also the special assistant to the mayor, and you are the director of community affairs for the city of Memphis. So that's a pretty big job in and of itself. But I wanted you on this show tonight to put on that robe, to put on that cloak, and we're gonna talk a little religion. Now, you put out, and what got my attention, because I check out your page quite often for inspirational thoughts, is the 5 things that we need to leave behind in 2025 as we move forward into 2026. And I asked you if you would be so kind as to lay those out for our audience. So without further ado, let's go.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, thank you again, Chip, for this opportunity, and congratulations on having this show in 2026. A lot of shows were in 2025, but did not survive enough to get to 26. So, hey, man, God blessings to you on that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, the Lord led me to share 5 things that I believe that we should leave in 2025 as we enter 26. And the first thing everybody needs to know is the number 5 means grace, right? And so the first thing we need to understand that God has given us the grace to enter into a new year, to new territory, new opportunities. So I'm going to give you real quick the 5 things that I believe that we all should have left in 25. And as we enter in 26, the first thing is the survival mode, right? Survival mode. Last year, people said that 2025 was the year to thrive. And I thought that was a great theme that a lot of people was sharing. I think it was a great message, and I still believe it. But the problem is when people are trying to survive, they're in survival mode. They're only focused on today. They're only focusing on the day, when God is calling us not to just focus on the day, but also plan for tomorrow.
Okay.
So when you're thinking about that survival mode piece, survival only responds to problems, but strategy prevents them. Right. So if you're only in survival mode, the only thing you're going to keep doing is responding to the problems, what you don't have, what you're lacking, what you're going through. But if you have that mindset that I'm going to make it and I am making it, now what can I do to prevent the things that's trying to keep me from being alive? The second thing is delayed obedience. So delayed obedience. Now, y'all know I'm a pastor,
right?
And we all grew up in church, and the saying was, if the Lord said it, that settles it. Right. And so that's what I want to kind of help people understand this year, is that if God has told you to do something, now is the time to do it. Right. This whole delayed obedience only delays opportunities. It delays our progress. And so I tell this to my church all the time. Half obedience is still disobedience. 3/4 of obedience is still disobedience.
Wow.
God is calling us to full obedience. So if he says go a mile and you only go half a mile, you can't try to negotiate with the Lord. So, Lord, I went half the way. I'm not calling you to do half the way. I'm calling you to go the full route.
To complete. Right.
So notice this, and I want to drop this nugget. Faith grows through movement. Notice the Bible says we walk by faith,
yes,
not by sight.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It didn't say we wait by faith. We walk by faith. So when it comes to this whole idea of delayed obedience, you and I got to make sure we walk it out in real time, what God is telling us to do. Here's the third thing that I think you and I and everybody else in this world that's listening, that we ought to let go and allow it to die in 2025 is familiar dysfunction.
Say it again, man. Say it again, boy. Yes, sir.
Dysfunction.
Yes, sir.
You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Here's the thing. Normal doesn't mean it's healthy. Because you've been doing it this way all your life don't mean it's healthy.
Sure.
Because other folks do it doesn't make it healthy.
Sure. Right.
Right. And so when it comes to purpose, it oftentimes demands that it demands a distance, if you will, from what feels comfortable. This year, we got to stop doing what feels comfortable, what looks the same, what feels the same, because God is calling us, watch this, to be transformative. There's a scripture when Jesus was on his way to the cross, and the Bible says that there was a fig tree and it wasn't producing fruit, right? And so Jesus cursed it. He says, if you do not produce fruit this time next year, I want to curse you, I want to cut you down. There's another scripture that says that anything that is not productive, that's connected to the branch, he'll cut that branch off, he'll prune it, he'll purge it. Growth requires that we release what no longer produces fruit. Okay. Right? So no matter what you're doing, if it's not producing anything in your life, you got to let it go. I don't care. I mean, it can be people, it can be friends, it can be a habit, it can be a job, it can be a career.
Sure.
If it's not helping you grow and become better, you have to cut it off, especially I don't care how familiar it is. Here's number 4. And this is a big one for me. This whole idea of performative faith. Faith was never meant to be a performance. It was meant to be a lifestyle. Right. Okay. And so some people only want to show faith when the lights are on.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
They don't want to show faith on Facebook when they have the attention. But here's the deal. This is what performative faith says. Performative faith is all about just saying one thing but living a different way. God is asking us to make sure our feet match our mouth, that we are doing exactly what we're supposed to do.
Right.
So one of the ways you do that is by private discipline. It's about ordering your private world. One of the things that our church and I and we started today, we're doing 21 days of fasting. 21 days of fasting. So every day we wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Chip, we're on the prayer call. We're fasting throughout the day. We got devotionals that we're reading. We get back on at 6 p.m. at night. We're on a prayer call, right? We're doing this private discipline. And so some people only want to do it at a certain season. But what we're trying to do is practice discipline so we can have public impact. If you order your private world, God says, I'll order your public world. See, Chip, folks don't understand the reason why you ain't breaking down is because when you ain't on the radio, you still talking to God. You're still, the reason why folks trying to figure out why he ain't going crazy is because my private world is in order.
Yes, sir.
And he's keeping my public world in place. Here's the last thing, and I hope everybody catches it. We got to get rid of small vision thinking. You got to get rid of it. Stop shrinking your prayers to your past pain.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Wow, that's deep.
Because of what I felt, what happened last time, whether I hit a wall or I stumbled or it didn't come as quick as I want, I'm going to keep my prayers safe. I'm going to keep them small. But no, what God is saying, I need you to have God-sized prayers in this season. I need you to have expansive thinking, expansive vision. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing about big vision, and I'm done here. Big vision always attracts opportunities. It always attracts talent. It always attracts hope. It's supposed to scare you. Your dreams are supposed to scare you. The vision is supposed to scare you. If it doesn't scare you, it's too small. If it makes sense to you, it's probably not a vision from God. It's probably something you came up in your mind. When it's God, he's going to tell you to do it without money in your account. When it's God, he's going to tell you to pursue it without a degree. Mm-hmm. When it's God, he's going to tell you to go after it and it's never been done in your family. I heard Pastor Jamal Bryant say this. So I'll give him credit, especially as I'm on live. Pastor Jamal Bryant said that if God has called you to do something and your excuse is, but I've never seen it done before. There's nowhere in history we've seen this done. He says that's proof that God is calling you to do it because maybe you're supposed to be the first one to do it. Yeah. Everybody was the first one to do something, right?
Yes.
Someone had to get on the radio first. Someone had to drive a bus first. Someone had to do this. And God still has a lot of firsts that's out there that people have yet tapped into. The cemetery, brother, is one of the richest places in the world. It's where a lot of dreams are, a lot of books that have never been written, medicine that has never been pursued. And so God is saying in real time, while the blood is running warm in our veins, stop thinking small because eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what it is that God has prepared for us. And to me, my brother, those are the 5 things that we ought to be intentional in making sure we leave it in 2025.
Man, I received that. I received each and everything you just said, Lord. I hope that folks are paying attention. I hope that you all have listened to what he had to say. Because, boy, that's the truth there, young man. I'm excited about that. And what you're saying, step out. Don't be afraid, man. If God is behind it, step out. You got to step out. Reverend Dr. Reginald Boyce, Senior Pastor, Riverside Missionary Baptist Church. And my friend, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And thank you so much for doing that. And more importantly, for everything that you do. God bless you for an amazing 2026. And I'm sure I'll be tapping on your door before the year is out. You can bet on that, my friend.
Yes, sir. Hey, shout out to the Kappas. Today is our Founder Day.
That's right.
Day. Shout out.
I have that in my notes. Happy Founders Day to Kappa Alpha Psi. Yes, sir. I saw your post. Sir. You have a great night, my friend. I thank you.
You too, my brother.
Okay, take care. Yes, sir. Well, there you go, my ladies and gentlemen. That's a great way to end this. As Bryn plays us out. And by the way, speaking of Bryn, he is sitting here. He is preparing us for another edition of Event Horizon. Bryn, did you have a good holiday? Did you have a good? You ready for 2026?
I'm ready for 2026, Chip. Hope you are as well. Yeah, we'll have some multi-genre stuff to start off the year. And as we continue within the winter vibes.
It's absolutely winter. You know what it feels like. It feels
correct.
Than that.
You're right.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't miss it. Brandon is next with a fresh edition of Event Horizon. It's been a great show. It's been a good start to the year, and as always, I love my crew. So for all of us, first up. Lovely Lola. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. And, of course, Bryn Butler, my board producer. Listen, to all of you, she's something else. Let's make it a wonderful 2026. Y'all tune in each and every Monday. We'll be here if the Lord says so from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time. And we'll try to do it all over again just a little bit better. Be safe, be careful, watch out for yourself, watch out for other folks, and love each other, because that is what we are ordained to do. So for all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, I'm Chip. Glad to be back for another year. And, well, you know what I always say at the end, right? We are out. Be good. See you soon.